something.
I thought she was gonna hit you with it.
I did.
We're on TV.
We'll call this meeting to order. Would you please join me for the pledge? I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a roll call, please?
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Here.
Hayward.
Here.
Hill is excused. Scharf.
Here.
O'Loughlin.
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Thank you. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Scharf, second by O'Loughlin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Next is public comment. This is a time set aside for visitors and public comments only on topics of city business other than those listed on tonight's agenda. Please understand the council cannot take any action on your comments at this meeting due to the requirements of the open meetings law, but may do so at a future meeting. Each speaker will be allowed a maximum of 5 minutes to state their comments. We thank you for your cooperation. Joyce Weber is on sidewalks, but you're not talking about the ones for Fourth, are you talking about the ones in the Fourth Ward? Because that's on the agenda.
Talk about sidewalks, Joyce? 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 Yes. Talk about sidewalks?
Well, because that is the next item on the agenda, if you want to just wait till we come to that item. Okay, well, we'll just have you do that if you want. Otherwise is John Evers for information. State your name and address, please.
John Evers, 1419 2nd Street Southwest, Independence, Iowa. Got a couple things here for you tonight. Based on your decision here at last council meeting, I just want to clarify one thing. You talked about experience and why you made your decision. I just want to let you know that we've been involved with ICAP since 1993. That started with the city of Winthrop. Then we moved to the county in 2001. So when you're looking at 26 years of experience there, I kind of think that you should maybe weigh into that in the future if this is why your sole decision was for experience on municipalities. And then along come with that, and amongst the two was the city of Raleigh and the city of Kowalski. So there's plenty of experience in our office as far as ICAP goes. And obviously it didn't change companies, but when it comes to municipalities, we got plenty of experience with us. That was just what I wanted to make for comments and just kind of go from there. Second thing that I want to talk about is before your decision was made 2 weeks ago, ICAP has, as you know, you've received in the past, when their cumulative reserve fund reaches a point that the board of directors feel is sufficient, then they will return a portion of the community reserve fund. And because they've been successful and you are 100% vested now, then I have a check here for you that was sent to me in the meantime for $7,602.44 that gets returned back to the city. So I'm here to present that to you today, and if there's any questions, I'm here to answer that too.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Excellent.
You'd be glad to take that, wouldn't you? Thank you very much, John.
And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next I need a motion to accept and approve the consent agenda that approves the following: minutes of the June 10th, 2019 regular meeting, city financials for the month of May, city budgeted and monthly transfers for the month of June and the end of year, paid on-call firefighter job description, Bill's Pizza and Smokehouse LLC catering privilege, Class C liquor license, outdoor service, and Sunday sales liquor license for July 20th, 2019 through July 19th of 2020. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Scharf,
Second.
second by O'Loughlin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Next on the agenda is a motion to approve the claims for payment.
I'd make the motion.
Motion by Kurtz,
Second.
second by Hannah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Next is motion to receive and file proof of publication of notice of public hearing for the Ward 4 sidewalk project public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by Kurtz, second by Scharf. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Next is a motion to hold the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by Scharf,
Second.
second by O'Loughlin. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. We are now in public hearing. And so, Joyce, if you would like to come forward now, we are in a public hearing in regards to the sidewalks. Just give your name and address, please.
My name is Joyce Weber, and I live at 807 Center Avenue Northeast.
Thank you.
And I have a question. I know they're going to be marking the sidewalks to replace the cracked concrete. And I have some cracked squares that I didn't crack. They were cracked when the city took out a tree on the terrace, which was the city's tree. And they cracked them then. You know, now, the boys were good, you know, I'm not, but they dropped big limbs down on the cement and they cracked them. So am I gonna be liable for repairing those? You know, and then also, we don't live in the best part of town, and there's a lot of retired people down there, a lot of people on limited income, and there's also a lot of lots that don't have sidewalks. What are you gonna do about them? You know, are you gonna make everybody walks in the street down there anyway? So I'm wondering, what's the plan?
Well, where there are no sidewalks, we have not forced sidewalks to be put in at this
And
point.
that's okay, you know, but I'm just wondering what you are gonna do. Are you gonna replace, and what am I gonna do? Am I liable for those cracked sidewalks when I didn't do them?
It depends on what the crack is, if it's just a,
It's a lot of cracks.
right.
You know,
The-
when they cut the tree down and cut the big limbs off, they didn't put a rope on them and lower them down, they dropped them. And that just, you know,
Yeah, it sounds like what you're describing would suggest replacing sidewalk, which is not part of this. This is just repairing the sidewalk that can be repaired. There are several places in particular in that area that also have sidewalks that have to be replaced. That will be a later project. So this is just the sidewalk repair where they can be preserved or corrected to meet ADA.
I see.
If it's beyond that, and again, I can't speak specifically to your sidewalk.
right.
But if it is cracked and broken up,
Looks like a jigsaw puzzle.
yeah, and that's probably not a
Fix.
repair, it's
No.
probably a replace.
Right.
But again, that's a later project. We're just looking at those areas that they'll mark it, they'll identify it as
Sure.
it has to be replaced. But again, that's a later project.
Okay.
What does she get a hold of to see if the city will take care of that?
Well, we'll take a look at it as we get in there, and I marked it down
I remember
here.
you
so-
saying, talking about it.
Oh, yeah, I spoke to you about
You
it.
mentioned that to me, too.
Did I mention it to you too?
Yeah, you did.
So it isn't anything that just happened, but I knew this was coming, so I just wanted to, okay, well, thank you very much.
Thanks, Joyce.
Okay.
Do we need to explain any more about how this is working, about the company that's doing it or anything? Or this is not the time for that part of it?
Well, that's up to the council, I guess, at this point.
I think it'd be good too.
See if she's leaving already.
The concern about what is the project, this is a continuation of what we've done the last 2 years. It is coming in, marking or identifying those areas that are out of ADA compliance as far as trip hazards or cross-slope issues. They are saw cutting the sidewalk to meet the ADA standard, and the homeowners are responsible for the maintenance of the sidewalk. Again, this is not the replacement of sidewalk, and we have plenty of sidewalk in all 4 wards that we've looked at to this point, or 3 wards plus this one that has to be replaced. We understand that, but this is, again, fixing the sidewalks that can be fixed.
I've had 2 citizens in the last 2.5 weeks have called me and had me come over, and they walked me around 2 or 3 blocks in the southwest, one on the more easterly side of southwest, and one near the checker flag area and stuff over there on the other side. And there's a lot of areas that were marked, and, some of them were precision cut. And then 10 feet away from them, there's sidewalks like Joyce talked about that were all cracked and rutted out, and
Well, again, those are ones that have to be replaced. What we're trying to do is get enough substance, so we have a repair project that is worthwhile.
Okay.
And ideally, we'd like to do the entire community, mark them, identify them. You've heard other citizens say that it's difficult to find a contractor to come in and replace a small portion of sidewalk.
Right.
We'd like to find a large enough project to make it worthwhile.
Okay.
Homeowners are always encouraged to maintain that sidewalk. It is their responsibility. If it needs to be replaced, they'd be responsible for that as well.
just in the southwest, just in what I saw, there's a substantial amount that'll need to be.
Well, and again, we have several places, but, when you look at a contractor making it worthwhile to come in and bid on it, we want to get as much of that covered as we can. Doesn't mean it can't be done ahead of time. Likewise with the repairs, if somebody thinks that they've got trip or fall hazards, we have, this is a project to catch up on those areas that those exist.
Okay.
But the homeowners are always responsible for the sidewalk on their property.
How does the property owners know when their sidewalk gets marked if it's for repair or replacement? They get a letter that says that, or?
Well, in this year, we are going out, we're marking it, identifying it, so that we know which property it is attributed to, and making the repairs. In the past, we tried to notify people to give them an opportunity to fix it. It turned into, quite honestly, it turned into a disaster trying to figure out who was opting in, who was opting out, created too much confusion. At this point, the sidewalks have to be repaired, they can be repaired. Theoretically, they should be replaced where they have to be replaced. Again, we'll come back and address that at a later date.
Because wasn't Ward 3 supposed to be done by October of this past year?
It was, and we have several places in both second and third ward that were supposed to be done, they were not addressed, and we'll have to come back and correct them.
What happens if the sidewalk gets marked and the person jumps on it and gets it fixed right away?
Well, in the past, we've opted out for that. This year, again, we've just said, the sidewalks are there, they have to be repaired. If they're not repaired when we come through to do the survey, it will be fixed and billed back to the property owner. And again, we've tried to find different ways to work with the residents to fix it, and it's turned into a situation where it's more confusing, created more animosity than what the project should. I mean, the sidewalks still have to be repaired.
Well, I think the other thing they found was by trying to have the homeowner try and fix it themselves, it wasn't really making the ADA compliance. That was another
That was another
problem.
big issue.
And they paid out money to have it done many times by somebody else, didn't meet the criteria, so it has to be done again to meet the criteria. And we're trying to help the homeowners and not have them in that situation.
And we did have a situation where we had a non-licensed individual providing services, not under the auspices or the guidance of the city. And again, just trying to chase contractors or, maybe I use that term loosely, people doing work that didn't have a right to be doing work. And to John's point, didn't meet the standard.
Well, Gina has not received any notifications for this hearing beforehand, so is there any other comments from anybody? Then I would ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by O'Loughlin, second by Scharf. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Then I need a motion to award the Ward 4 sidewalk project to Precision Concrete Cutting for $39.90 per inch foot of repair.
So moved.
Motion by Kurtz, second by,
Second.
I'm going to give that one to Hayward. Roll call, please.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Hill is excused, Scharf,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. Okay. Now we're at 2008, 2010 Second Street rezoning. We're setting a date for public hearing, so I need a motion to set a date of public hearing for July 8th, 2019 at 6:30 PM in City Hall for the rezoning of 208 and 210 Second Street.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Scharf, second by O'Loughlin. Which side of town is this on?
Northeast.
Northeast? Okay. Roll call, please.
we can just do a simple one on this one.
On this one?
Yep.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried.
In regard to this rezoning, I see a house that was moved from the hospital down by the old bus barn, by the old swimming pool. There's a basement dug, and that's zoned commercial. I looked it up on the assessor's website this morning.
I will double check that.
You don't think just where the bus barn is that it's zoned commercial, that the rest is
I know it's-
residential?
I know it's zoned commercial. I looked it up this
That,
morning.
that particular part of the property is? Okay, and they've already set the house, haven't they?
No, they haven't.
No.
Oh, I thought it got moved.
It got moved.
It's moved. It's
It's
still.
moved, it isn't set on the cement.
Right.
Because they built, or dug us.
Because I didn't look carefully at what the address was on this. I just assumed that that was what that was.
Okay. And you'd be glad to check into that,
I'd be
wouldn't you?
happy to look into it.
Okay, moving on. Under resolutions, motion to approve a resolution accepting the ISE grant for PAPI light repairs. No idea what I'm talking about.
This is a grant application through the state FAA that will cover 70% of repair costs for the PAPI lights that were damaged in last fall's floods. And the grant is up to $2,267 based on quotes that we received. We'd be responsible for the other $600 or so that it would take to fix those lights.
We had lights at the airport damaged.
It's a control box that sits out in the field between the runway and the taxiway. It took on water.
Sure.
The reason it's this expensive is because we need to raise it up so that it stays out of water,
wouldn't
so we
wanna see
can't get
that,
water
sure.
in there. And that's why it's a $2,800 estimate to fix it.
So our share is just $600
That's correct.
approximately? Okay.
I'd make the motion, we apply for them.
Motion by Kurtz.
Second.
Seconded by Scharf.
Just for clarification, I did submit the application. This is approving the agreement to receive the money. So, sorry, John, I just want to make
That's all
sure.
Roll call.
Hayward,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. The next on the agenda is motion to approve a resolution accepting the Second Street Northeast PCC paving and sanitary sewer replacement project as complete and authorize final payment on the contract.
Good evening. Brian Crawford, Crawford Engineering, here in Independence. So this is the final acceptance of the improvements that hopefully most of you have probably driven recently. Second Street Northeast from 8th down to the Malone Creek Bridge. It's currently being used as the bypass for First Street East. Original contract amount was $247,272. Final quantities come in at $237,801, so about a $10,000 difference. We're a little under the engineers, or I'm sorry, the original contract. And we recommend approval. The contractor is complete with their work.
I'd make the motion to approve that.
I would second.
Motion by Kurt, second by O'Loughlin. Roll call, please.
Shar,
Yes.
O'Loughlin.
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Thank you, Brian. Staying up there for the next one. Motion to approve a resolution accepting the 17th Street Southeast intersection improvement project as complete and authorize final payment on the contract.
All right, as the mayor said, this is the same action, final acceptance on the 17th Street Southeast intersection improvements. The approved contract was $231,962. The final quantities come in at $231,072. And just a reminder, this is 5545 DOT reimbursement. So I think the city has received reimbursements of $114,628, so there'll be a final reimbursement request that will get you up to the $127,000 that comes back from the DOT. We recommend approval of these improvements as well.
So moved.
Second.
What did I hear on this side?
O'Loughlin.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Motion by O'Loughlin, second by Kurtz. Thank you. Roll call, please.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
Brian, so I don't forget, we have the erosion control closeout documents that we received today as well.
Okay, very
That
good.
we'll have to file with the
Yep,
DNR.
final acceptance, and then they'll actually issue closure of that permit. Yep. Thank you. I'll make a note of that.
Yeah.
You staying for this one, too? Okay. Motion to approve a resolution authorizing a formal agreement with Crawford Engineering for the Highway 150 reconstruction project.
So moved.
Motion by O'Loughlin,
Second.
second by Scharf. Roll call, please.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
O'Loughlin.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried.
Thank you. Be
Thanks.
seeing us out on Highway 150 here very shortly.
Sounds
Thank you,
good.
Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Okay, next is a motion to approve a resolution to assess property owners for Chapter 52 mowing failure to comply.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Scharf, second by Kurtz. Roll call, please.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurt,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Shar,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried. Down to other business.
Can I ask a question,
You certainly
not
can.
really related to the mowing, but are we getting anywhere on doing anything substantial with those two properties? Will we just keep mowing and mowing and mowing, and the houses keep tumbling and tumbling and tumbling?
Well, there's two houses that have come down in the last 10 days. I don't think those are the mowing properties, though.
I was by these over the weekend, they're still upright.
Okay, so it'd be different properties. I'll check with Todd on that. There is a process that we go through,
Yeah, I
and
know.
the city attorney's office has been very helpful, and I know that there's one that next week we can start on some more aggressive enforcement.
The two that are listed in this resolution are two that we would send out the bill to, and it just comes straight back to us. They don't even sign for it. We can't get them the bill or anything like that. So I don't know if Todd's even been able to get a hold of them or not, but I'm not sure. That's why we have them on here, because we don't even go through the waiting period if we can't even give them the notice that they owe us.
So this just goes on the taxes.
Yeah.
Next, under other business, is a resolution, a motion to approve all tobacco, hauling, bed and breakfast, and home occupation permits that are listed.
So moved.
Motion by Scharf,
Second.
second by O'Loughlin. Roll call?
Kurtz,
I'll have to abstain as my wife's business is on here.
Hayward,
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried. Okay. Next, I need a motion to approve a contract with Top Grade Excavating for the 2019 street improvement project. You're going to get your exercise tonight, Brian.
Yes. Okay, so this is for our 2019 street improvement contract. This is 10th Street Southwest from 6th Avenue to the dead end, and 5th Avenue Southwest from 1st Street to 2nd Street. This is concrete reconstruction. Engineer's estimate was $347,860, and the contractor brought us a proposal for, through the competitive bid process, of $348,957.
Does this include water and sewer replacement too?
It will include sewer on 10th only. There is no sewer or water on 5th, and the water is in good condition and outside of the road on 10th Street. So we did review some video footage of the sewer on 10th Street, and it does need to be replaced, and it is included in the project.
But the water lines are good on 10th?
Water lines, yeah, they don't anticipate any problem, and also they're outside, they're on the north side of the street down there. And visiting with Mark Luloff in the Public Works, the sewer is what they wanted replaced. The water was not on the items to be replaced.
Storm sewer is included in this, and there was a question about that previously, but that would be included in this too.
Oh, yeah, because they never had storm sewers on that street.
Correct.
Correct.
I'd
So it
make
would be
a
an
mo-
improvement.
Yeah.
I'd make a motion, we approve the contract.
Motion by Kurt, second by O'Loughlin. All those in favor say aye. Oh, no, you need a roll call.
Yes, please.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
Hayward,
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried.
Thank you. We will contact the contractor and get a pre-construction meeting set up and get notices out to the property owners when he provides us a schedule.
This one doesn't run through Dock Express, does it?
No, no, we're okay on this one.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Okay, next on the agenda is a motion to approve the wastewater treatment plant change order in the amount of $14,005.34.
The change order is a net amount of several pieces of information that they've provided. Some of it is electrical that had to be done. There was a repair that had to be done, so that's included in here. And then getting back to the digesters, trying to figure out how we can attempt to preserve what we have for digester system. And this is a repair on, Mark, this is one digester that they're repairing. Correct.
I hear a motion.
I'll make the motion, we approve it.
Motion by Kurtz, second
I'll second.
by Hayward. Roll call.
Sharp,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes, I guess.
Kurtz,
Yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Next on the agenda is hangar sublease. The last council meeting, PNN expressed interest in subleasing one of their T-hangars to expand the number of aircraft at the airport. Their contract with the city requires city approval of this subletting. This will allow a former tenant to return to the airport and is considered a very positive opportunity. Do we
I
know who
thought we
the,
weren't allowed to sublease out there.
Their agreement with the city says it is, they can sublease with council approval, or with city approval, I guess is what it says specifically. So yes, they can.
I am really reluctant to have this start happening because next thing you know, they could be subleasing out just about anything they want out there. Or they're gonna be approaching us and twisting our arm about it. And
As I say, because they would have to approach you for each item. If they're doing any sublease, it would still have to get
Each time we
approval.
have the opportunity to put the skids to it, is the only upside, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, I just don't wanna see it
I
become
think, I
a,
think we need to stay on top of it.
Well, I'd like to know, I heard when they were here the last time, they'd already leased it. And
he had already paid them for it.
already paid them nonsense. Nonsense.
At more than what the city was leasing it.
Exactly, and more, we're not here, they're not here to make money off us. I don't, I don't like this at all. You lease it before you can come to us? Uh-uh. And then more money on top of it?
And it's the hangar he used to have when they leased his
Yeah.
plane. This is a real convoluted mess.
So who is this they're leasing it to, or wanting to lease it
Mayor
to?
Jones
Mary Jones.
He already has a hangar.
He had one.
He doesn't.
had one.
They took it over.
This was the latest list that Susie just gave me.
Yeah, if they've already
Unless
leased
he's
it,
had
that's
two,
a
he might have
game
had
changer
two in
for
the
me, too.
past.
Me,
But I know.
Not that I'm aware of.
I know when I started working for the city, he had one, and then there was a period a year or two ago when he didn't renew it again and didn't have one anymore.
And that's
So I
when
don't
he
know when
leased
he
his
got
plane
one
to
on the
P and N, and they were going to hangar it for him. And they took it to Dubuque, I think.
I requested from Susie a list of all the hangars and who had them, and they show Merritt Jones for A-1W. But
That's
they also,
probably the one they are leasing to him.
oh,
no, but the show also shows the ones
Does
that
it show
PNN
three for
had.
PNN?
Yes, yes.
well then,
Or-
that can't be right.
Doesn't sound right.
I think-
This is the list, Susie?
No, I don't doubt you, Benita, I don't mean it that way.
Well, I don't doubt Susie either. I mean, she keeps
But
up on this as
she's
much
only
as she
doing what
can.
she's probably told, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
But PNN has 3 of them.
Well,
But Merritt Jones-
Yeah, the question is, PNN has a request to sublet one T hangar to Merritt Jones, is my understanding. And you have to approve it before they can sublet it.
Even though it's already been done.
Well, it hasn't been done because their contract with the city says that the city has to approve it.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they can't do it. I mean, you know what I'm saying, Al? Come on now.
Well, I understand what you're saying, but I also understand that in order for them to sublet it,
To correctly do it.
okay, to correctly do it.
Thank you. No, you're right, you're right.
So the issue, quite honestly, is the city council at this point says yes or no.
I'll make a motion, we approve this sublease.
I will second that.
Motion
With
by
the
Hayward,
stipulation-
second by Kurtz.
We're gonna have to be
You need a roll
watchdogs
call on this?
Yes.
again.
Okay, roll call.
O'Loughlin,
No.
Hannah,
No,
Vaughn,
Absolutely no.
Kurtz,
Yes,
Hayward,
I'll go yes.
Sharp.
No.
That's 4 no's and 2 yeses.
Okay, motion did not pass.
Sure,
Maybe we need to clarify who they're renting it to. Maybe you got the wrong name, I don't know. I need a motion to approve a 28E agreement with University Heights.
This is consistent with other 2080 agreements that we've entered into, both officers working here as well as our officers working for other departments. It allows them to use their city equipment and not have to buy new vests. I think the vest would be the most significant piece. Also their sidearm.
I'm making a motion to approve it.
Second?
Motion by Sharp, second by O'Loughlin. Roll call?
Hannah,
yes,
Vaughn,
Yes.
Kurtz,
yes.
Hayward,
Yes.
Sharp,
Yes.
O'Loughlin.
Yes.
Thank you, motion carries. We are down to reports. We don't have any council committee reports, do we, at this point? I didn't think so. Staff, Dustin? You have anything? Who's citing that?
sorry, I was late, I was helping an officer out, shorthanded right now. So, well, and just let everybody know that 4th of July is coming up, so be very careful. We won't have another council meeting before the 4th of July. We'll have a committee of the whole, but not another council meeting. So, the way the parade schedule is set up, they said it's gonna come down 4th Avenue to 2nd Street. It's gonna go west on 2nd Street, then at 2nd Avenue, it's heading back north up to 12th. So that's the way that our parade route is set up to go. I've been working with the chamber on where everything's gonna be staged and how things are going. It looks like it's gonna be not an issue. I mean, it looks like a lot with the parking and everything, there's parking areas, there's a lot of space for the people that would normally be on First Street, so it should be pretty good, I believe. I don't think we're gonna have that big of an issue. A lot of change. So people that are out of the area, if you know family, friends that are coming into the area for this event, please inform them of where it is this year. I've talked to the chamber about putting up signs ahead of time to make sure that people know that it's not on First Street anymore, that it's moved back a block. So, other than that, it's very busy, and with this weather and everything, it's up and down all over the place, so. But
I noticed we had more places to sell fireworks, but the law still says they cannot let them off within the city limits. Is that not
Yep.
correct?
Our ordinance says you can't shoot them off within the city limits. We cannot restrict the sale of fireworks. I've seen 3 that I know of. I see that Walmart even have some inside the store now as well, so I don't think I saw them in there last year, but I see Walmart has them in there now. Opening the one business down off of Enterprise is open back up again, so.
I thought we passed an ordinance that had to be the temporary tents were not allowed, or,
Not that-
I don't think
I don't
we
think
can
you
restrict them.
yeah.
We do get, they do fill out a peddler's application and pay the $25 permit fee, but we haven't been able to charge them the actual peddler's fee, like for the peddler's permit, but we do get the information from them like we would from a normal
Sure.
peddler. So that's helpful too, so we know who's in charge and who to contact.
okay.
I mean, ever since they've opened our doors back up and are reselling, and there's only been a handful of ones that I've heard or I've dealt with. So, I mean, it's a lot less than what it has been in last year. But yeah, something will always fight around this time of the year. So,
And the state has been gracious enough to take a lot of that control away from us.
Yeah.
Yeah, gracious. Is that
So
the
much
term
for
you wanted
local
to
control.
use? Anything else?
oh, that's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Dustin.
Thank you.
Mark, did you have anything you wanted to share?
Wanted to thank you for approving that change order.
Yeah, you know how much I like those, Mark.
I tell you, there's probably more to come.
I was just,
but
I understand,
We're starting to see, as we uncover things, how 40 years has really
yeah.
worked on that plan. I mean, it's, today, actually, over the weekend, we had a copper water line wear through. It was paper thin, the blue holes, and so they had to move all their staging and everything out of where they had their work trailer and everything, so we could repair that today. So we're starting to see issues like that, and then there's buried hot water lines underground that are starting to leak too. Because every time you shut them down, they cool, they
yeah.
crack, and then they leak, so. It's becoming apparent, so.
Your job has been really fun lately, here,
Yeah,
hasn't
hopefully,
it?
if you wanna
Mark,
move
is
that new one up a little
it's
sooner.
materials they're working with today, much, much better than what we
Yeah.
had back then, has to.
Yeah, even 98, yeah. They would have used fiberglass material now and that plastic, so. And the importance of infrastructure showed up at Dunlap's this week. The bottom of that 8-inch main was rotted out and it blew out. We had a pretty good water leak up there on Friday, so it's important, I guess, as you do these new streets, to get new water lines, because that's all cast iron. And that clay, it lays on clay and it just eats the bottom of them out. Top looks like brand new, but the bottoms are just eaten completely through. I think I had a piece here that you guys saw, so. Other than that, they found a few surprises, but old service lines that go nowhere, but anyway, so.
Did they, on the wood service lines that they uncovered, did you save any of those and donate them to the
I
museum?
haven't seen any, I haven't heard them come.
Somebody showed a picture of them on the Facebook or something the other day, and I thought.
Wood?
Interesting.
They found the first letter
Wood
the
water?
other day up here in front of Dunlap's. It didn't go anywhere, but
Now, this was down,
Is that a gas or a water line?
Yes,
it was water.
Said water.
Yeah, it said
Let's
water.
do water. I have to ask, talk about
They're
it.
banded wood strips with bands around them. Once they get wet, they swell.
They had wooden gas
Did they?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe-
The gas company down there made gas.
Looked a little big, the gas line.
Yeah, it did.
So anyway, that's all I had.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you. We don't have anything from the fire department, do we, back there? Since chief's not here? Okay, thank you. Council members, who did we start with last time? Not sure where we start. Deb, I'll let you start. We'll go around the
I
circle.
just had a question with the ICAP check that we got, no matter who we're with ICAP, that would happen.
Yes.
Should,
That's a product of our relationship with ICAP, yes, and their performance overall.
Okay, thanks, that's all I have.
Mike?
Yeah, I have two things. First, kudos and accommodation to our building inspector. There was a lot of garbage at the leaf and tree dump and stuff, and he took the initiative to clean it up and took it to Waste Management. Hopefully, he'll get reimbursed for the, good. I was concerned about that.
Yeah, that's not his responsibility.
No, I know, but it was very commendable of him to take initiative to do that. And he recommended we put another camera down further. I don't know if anybody else has been apprised of that from him, or,
The issue that we have there is not another camera down further. We don't have a mechanism to do that, but a camera on that north pole that might catch some of that area back in there may be the solution.
Okay.
But it's, it's about chasing that, trying to figure out where to put them and
right, and
what to
the
do.
further back they'll go.
And it would be helpful for people to understand that, the more garbage that ends up down there, the harder it is for us to maintain that.
Yeah.
And that's one of the one of the most positive things that we have for the community is that resource for them to take their brush and their leaves too, so.
The stuff that got dumped down there didn't get cameraed?
No, it's not on the camera. I don't know if it was in the trunk of a car or in a topper or what have you, but that did not show up. And just for those listening, the fine for that is up to $750. So, we'd ask you not to do that. It's a hardship on the city, and it's really abusing a very positive thing that is out there.
Yeah. The second thing I have is, in regard to insurance, I've emailed pretty much everybody this week. We have two carriers in town that can offer the same service as the PCDM or DCM. And one of them at Smith D&L, he said that he received a call from you a few months ago and said, yes, we can, but never had a follow-up.
He said, yes, we can, but and the conversation included all of the issues that we've been facing, including the employee subrogation for faithful performance, as
Right,
we've been talking
right.
about. And it was taking us down the same road that we were in every other conversation we'd had to that point. And, there was nothing different offered there than what we had already received from Mr. Evers.
But they had the EMC, which was
It-
what
it
really
was-
the selling point for this.
The coverage that he had offered was no different than what we already were receiving with the subrogation. And I talked to.
So the price, there was no price difference?
I won't say there was no price difference, but the coverage was not what the council had been asking for. The first firm that gave us anything close to what was brought up was PDCM. That was the first time that we found anybody that said, we can fulfill this, and I'm going to call it errors and omissions. That's what we understand.
right.
Faithful performance, et
Correct.
cetera. That was the first time that anybody told me that we can do this. And I talked to Smith D&L, I talked to Brown Lane, I visited with Mr. Evers, of course, and, every place we went. And that included, I talked directly to Travelers and Old Republic, the two that we started with, and I got the same answer all the way across the board.
Well,
And
initially.
this was not a 2-week project, Mike. This was
I know.
over 8 months.
Right,
it took
and I got a call from.
EDCM immediately came and said, we can do this.
Okay, well, I got a call from those people, and then I got a call from other people that rose in support of a local entity and said, bring it up at the meeting. I said, well, I don't know, I'll have to talk to the insurance people and see if this was apples for apples, and it is apples for apples, so.
Well, that was never presented when I asked for it. That never was brought forward.
Is PDCM using EMC for their insurance? Is
That's-
that, or are they going to go to somebody else for that
That's one
particular
of their,
bond?
that's one of their options. I think the application that he recommended was with Travelers.
That gets the right wording for the errors and omissions, where it doesn't come back on employees, the type of thing?
Correct.
Okay.
So rather than the EMC, will be covered under Travelers?
Well, that's my understanding. I haven't seen the final product. I'm meeting with him on Wednesday. I can tell you more after that. But I believe that Travelers is where we're going right now.
Now, with Travelers, as we talked before, they're the one that had this umbrella, correct? For the coverage?
Yeah, the umbrella coverage for the city for faithful performance,
Right.
correct.
Thank you.
As opposed to the named individuals.
Yes, that's what I was indicating to you.
Right. And the other question that came up, when we talked to Travelers before, the first time it came around, that's where we were asked to fill out individual applications, and they were trying to do it one at a time. You heard that it was
$750 to $1,000?
right, and it was one or the other of those two. PDCM is the first one that was able to get into Travelers and say, you know, this is the coverage we're looking for. Before that, everything was taking us down a completely different road. And so why did it change with PDCM when that wasn't available with any of the other folks that we were visiting with? I don't know. I mean, that, and I won't try and explain it, I just know that until PDCM came in and said, here, we can provide this, and gave us proof that they can provide it, it didn't seem to exist. And so that part I don't understand.
So we've approved to go with a different provider, but we will be able to see exactly what this policy is and make sure it has all the right wording and
That's
that type of
correct.
thing before it's completed.
That's correct. The council will have to approve it to move forward. That's part of where we're
Okay.
laying the groundwork right now and getting that ready to go.
Okay. Anything else, Mike?
No.
Carl?
Just a compliment, actually. I had a few calls, but they were all related to complimenting the city on the cleanup day. Wherever station they went, two of them they went to all of them, but they were treated well, they were addressed right away, and they just, thanks to the city, everyone involved, and so it was all positive. Thank you, that's it.
Mike, you have anything?
Well, I also have a compliment for the downtown business community. We saw on KCRG, they had a story about the road construction and interviewed some of the local business people, and although they said it was challenging, they had nothing but positive words about how well it has been set up and going as well as could be expected. People on social media from downtown have been fairly positive about it, and I appreciate that. You know, we're trying to do the best we can and make as good of a situation as we can out of a mess, and I appreciate their support, and if they want a challenge, how about they work with the people complaining about the traffic flow and see if they can get them moving to a little more positive direction. But hats off to the downtown businesses. I appreciate the support.
Great.
That's it.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to hand out compliments too. Last week, I was out working in the yard, and I looked up, and our power line coming to the house was all tangled up in our trees. And that tree, I guess, has grown a lot in the last 20 years. I made a call up to Indytel, and they had their guys there. Went up there and took out all the limbs that were entangled with the trees, and within 2 days, it was all done. And they cleaned it all up. It looked beautiful. So thank you to Indytel for being prompt response on it. I was afraid we'd lose a limb and lose power and everything else. And they'd rather do it before a storm.
Yeah.
Second thing is also has to do with the downtown reconstruction. The crews, I'm amazed that they're working late into the evening sometimes, and I've seen them down there on Saturdays. You don't normally see that on projects like that. And I know when they did my street, there were sometimes days when I didn't see anybody, so they're working hard, and I appreciate that. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Do you have anything?
No news is the only good news I got.
We're going to have to mark this down with all these compliments. I don't think we've ever had a meeting with these many compliments, and I appreciate it very much.
Even election time.
Gina, do you have anything?
We're just working on year-end stuff. You saw on the agenda, we got a lot of the transfers and things like that that were included with our budget all finished out for the year. I'll be working on trying to get transactions processed for June so we can do all of our rolling on July 1st. Will be closed July 1st and July 4th at City Hall.
Okay. Al?
Will first be all day, Gina? Probably.
Probably, being says we'll have to do bank rec and stuff like that. So I'm thinking most of the day, if not all day.
Al, you got anything?
I just want to make the council aware, I received a request from Emmett Donnelly. He's having an auction in the southwest part of the community, and he wants to close a portion of a street during the auction. It's if I understand it right, an estate auction. And unless the council has objections, I'm going to approve that. I did not receive the request in time to get it on the agenda, but he's been respectful of these closures in the past, so, yeah, 8th Avenue Southwest.
Yeah, 611 8th Avenue.
So, anyway, unless there's concerns about that, it's for a partial day, and he's taken care of that in the
What day is
past.
that?
Sunday.
Sunday? Yeah. McDonald's has a groundbreaking coming up
Wednesday?
on Wednesday.
Is it this Wednesday or next?
I believe it's next,
July?
yeah. So if anybody has an interest, we'll let you know. I don't
July
know,
3rd or 10th?
it's the 10th.
Free burgers?
I didn't see that on the flyer, we can double check.
Soil burgers.
The building's not built yet, just to start the groundwork.
There's a box of burgers out there.
Did they get their easement from Walmart? for
Yes, for the easement to the
the Parking lot?
south and west, yes. It's not a parking lot, it's an access through the McDonald's parking lot.
Okay, well, we can't get the easements from them.
Yeah, they got a better attorney.
We've been able to get.
They might.
Have to find out who they contact at Walmart to get responses.
So that's at 1 o'clock on the 10th. And on First Street, there is a progress meeting tomorrow. There's also immediately following that. That one's at 10 o'clock. At 11 o'clock, the Malone Creek progress meeting will take place. There has been some additional signage for the detour that went up last week, and I drove it today, and I see that it's already down. So I'm not sure if that's courtesy of the wind or what happened there, so. On Second Street Northeast?
No parking signs?
Yes.
That was because of the wind and the rain, because they put up paper.
Oh, okay.
Toilet paper.
No, paper, not toilet paper.
So we are working on that. We've had requests to have no parking in there. Today I received a request to allow them to park back in there again, so it's kind of going back and forth. The real issue seems to be the traffic through there with no parking. Traffic is sped up, and that is a problem. If we've got the trucks, in particular, we have trucks going through there at their perception, I guess, is a high rate of speed. I haven't seen it, so I won't reference it one way or the other. But that's something Dustin and I will work on. We'll also address it tomorrow at the progress meeting.
While we're talking about no parking on detours, Second Street Southeast over here, from the Casey's Corner over for the detour, is terrible with people parked on both sides of the street. You're dodging vehicles all the time. And that gets a lot of use.
I'm sorry, on which?
Second Street Southeast,
Which
From,
block?
from 150,
from the 150 corner going east.
I actually had a woman move out of town because of the traffic.
Permanently or just temporary?
Permanently, yes.
Because of the traffic where?
On Second Street. You just said it. There's more traffic going on Second Street than Interstate 80's got.
Second Street Southeast and Third Street Southeast are parts of the next phase of the detour. They're not official detours at this point, but they will become that, and we'll take a look at that
When we close Third Avenue?
when we close Third. And on the bridge, they have had a little hiccup with CenturyLink getting the cable off of the bridge and strung, but they did work most of the weekend, as I understand it, and I think that is largely complete. I know they were out there again today doing the fusing, some of the cutover, so I
Below
think
Creek.
they're on Below Creek, yeah. The contractor took off the north half first so that he could, keep working. He's been cautiously working on the south side until they get that fiber off of there, but there's only so much he could do, and it appears that they are largely complete, but I haven't gotten the go-ahead on that yet. He's still working on the bridge. With that in mind, I have had calls about rubble in Malone Creek. The contractor obviously does have a responsibility to clean that up as they go, but they'll never be able to prevent all of that from going in there while they're doing the demolition. The piers also have to come out, so there's more work to be done there, and there'll be more to clean out of the bottom there before they're done. And there is a culvert in there. Councilman Hayward brought it up. There's a culvert in there with some dirt over the top. That's so the crane has a way to get across the creek while they're working. It is not going to be a dam. They're not building it up. It's just enough so that they can get the crane in there to set the beams as they go through. So that's all I had.
It's
The
not a
neighbors got a
permanent.
little twitchy when they saw it.
That was the new bridge, huh?
Yeah.
No, they were worried about if we got a bunch of rain, that was gonna back things up a little.
Anything else?
That's all I got.
I had somebody today mention to me, she was sitting at the library and looked out the window, and there was a car carrier that was loaded with cars going east on First, and then came to that corner right there by the library, and all of a sudden, this guy had a funny look on his face. She said he started to back up, and she couldn't see, she didn't go out to see where he went from there, so somehow that semi didn't either read closed signs or missed something, and she had no idea how he got out of that area. He just disappeared, backed up, and she didn't see him anymore. So she was shocked to see this great big semi in that area. And I have lots of people keep asking me if I'm getting lots of phone calls because of our detours, and I'm not getting any. I don't know if you, they ask me thinking I should be frustrated from all the phone calls, and I think our detours are interesting and a challenge, but they are going to change when we have to start working on Third Avenue, which will be one of the next steps. And so those detours will change. So everybody does need to pay attention to what direction it tells you to go so that you don't get in the wrong place.
Since they fixed the lights.
You what?
The big concern was the stoplights.
On Second and
Yeah, people kept
Third?
pounding my phone, but since then, it's good.
Yeah.
Good.
I've actually got compliments from citizens, have come up and told me they really think that the guys working on these streets are doing a fantastic job. I think it's because they see them out there working, where, like you say, we've had times when days would go by and you didn't see anybody working, and these guys seem to be doing it for every minute that they can. And so I want to throw that out to Chuck Fry for the work they're doing and their workers, because everybody is complimenting me as to how it's moving along and how well they're doing, and they see the progress and stuff. So I think for this big of a project, to have people that are at least satisfied or comfortable and looking forward to it. Everybody keeps saying that even though it's an inconvenience, they know the final project will be fantastic, and so they're willing to deal with that at this point. So Other than that, I have no other statements. I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Sharf,
Let's go home.
second by Denny. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Thank you. Motion carried. We are adjourned.
Not exactly a record, but
I can get a nap before Hogan Trails tonight.
yeah, I could, at least.
Quiet tonight.
I'm always quiet.